Let's bring Marcelo up on stage. I can see Marcelo here.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Do you guys
Marcelo.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Amazing. How are you guys doing?
All good. All good. Pleasure to have you guys. You know,
Absolutely, bro.
live with
Thank you for
us.
having us.
To introduce your game to the community. Yeah, pretty excited to see what you guys have in store for us today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Great job you guys are doing with the gaming community. I see you guys everywhere, so it's a privilege and an honor to be here representing Zipclash. Thank you so much for having us.
Um, we started in 2 minutes. So we could give the audience some time to come on.
Yeah, that's perfect
We'll
with
be
me.
streaming on three platform as already communicated. So yeah, in 2 minutes. Okay, I think we should start. I'm considering a lot of people already online on YouTube, and also people are watching us, live on Facebook and also on X. Welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Game Time um, live gameplay, show where we basically demo games on the game, in the gaming ecosystem live. We want to show you how awesome the games on our ecosystem on our platform are, instead of just telling you guys how awesome they are. So in this session, as you guys already know, for those who have been joining your previous episodes, we bring on stage founders, top officials from these games, not only answer questions, but also show us live what the game is all about, possibly teach us, a little bit of tips and, tips and tricks here and there. So today we'll be demoing Zipclash, but before we go ahead, introducing them, because, they'll, Marcelo, representing Zipclash here, would, have enough ample time to, go into the project. Then just want to introduce myself. I'm Steven. I'm head of marketing at Gaming, and Marcelo is our guest today. And courtesy of Zipclash, the game he's representing, they have actually provided a reward pool of $50, in GMRX. So if you want to, stand to be among, the 5 lucky winners who go home with, something from this prize pool, make sure to stay to the end, because we'll be giving away a code which you can use for claiming this reward via the AMA form, which will be shared on whatever platform you're streaming on. All right, let's get straight into it. Let's introduce Marcelo. Hey Marcelo, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having us on this beautiful Friday morning. It's Friday morning here for me. Hope you guys are doing well.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having this, yeah, having us on your beautiful Discord panel.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, we're not only streaming on Discord, we're actually live on 3 other platforms. But yeah, where are you calling from? Just kind of, introduce it. I know, the project is a thing, but, it's to be also good for the audience to get to know you. Can you introduce yourself? Your journey probably into the Web3 space, going into, Zipclash, where you're chatting from, what country are you in? Probably, just yourself in a jiffy, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I first got into crypto about a decade ago when Bitcoin was a hot topic in 2017 before the markets crashed. I was in school and I heard about this thing. I'm like, oh, yo, this is interesting. And then, yeah, I kind of stuck around during the bear market, and then NFTs came around in 2021. That was something that really spoke to me a lot deeper than DeFi and all the other stuff happening in crypto before NFTs took off. And then, yeah, once I really got passionate about the whole space, I also started paying attention to Gameify. At the time, there weren't really that great games, in my opinion. There was, we had Axie Infinity, a few other games, but there was nothing really insane that, like, really spoke to me. And then by 2022, I decided to do a full career change. I was working in mental health. My mental health was suffering. I was not happy, and I'm like, I need a change. And then I learned that you could get paid to work in Web3. So I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I had no experience as a developer, but I figured I could do this marketing thing. So I gave that a try. Worked for a few projects as a Discord moderator, and then yeah, ever since then it's been a journey. I worked my way up, built my reputation. Here we are 3 years later, having worked in the industry full time. Currently working with a handful of projects. Right now, representing Zipclash as their head of spaces. And yeah, man, super happy to be here. I feel very good about Web3 gaming, regardless of what the market conditions are, which we could get into in just a moment with this beautiful AMA. But yeah, man, that's a little bit about myself. Been in the industry for quite some time, and really excited for the future of gaming and Web3. I think we're still very early, and there's a lot of cool stuff that's gonna happen. So yeah,
Yeah,
happy to be here.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, the market does its thing, but I also believe the market also corrects, right? So, irrespective of what's happening in the short term, on the macro level, you know, it just has a way of filtering out, projects with substance, filters out, the hype. So, yeah, thanks. That was nice, to get to know you. Basically, what's Zipclash all about, right? The game, is it a project? Is it a game? What's it all about? Can you go through that briefly?
Yeah, totally. I'd love to talk a little bit about Zipclash as well. So Zipclash essentially is we're doing something very interesting with Zipclash. So what's really fun about actual game developers? One of our co-founders has been building games for over a decade. They've built games before, and now they're exploring this venture here with Zipclash. But essentially, Zipclash is a cooking, kind of like a farming, but mostly cooking simulation game where you get to play the game, you cook some awesome foods, you have different objectives within the game to move forward, and then on the back end, what's really cool is that all the points that you're collecting while playing the game will eventually be used for what we like to call is cook to earn. So a lot of us within the Web3 space have heard of play to earn. We're mixing it up a little bit differently, where by playing the game, you actually get to get rewarded in real world rewards where it's food. So we're really thinking, that's what's really fun about the blockchain. I think, you get to build a really fun game, but on the back end, you're able to really reward players with tangible assets. In this case, these tangible assets are food, and the objective eventually would be to use these points for food vouchers, which you could, use for Uber Eats, Starbucks, your favorite restaurants, and kind of get rewarded that way. So that's kind of what we're doing in terms of the cooking and farming elements of the game. It's a very fun game too. If you play it, it does feel like any other Web2 game out there, which is really cool. But for the folks that are interested in the Web3 side of things, there's these real world benefits as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about Zipclash.
Nice, nice. And just on a side note, when I was actually going through your game, it kind of kind of rang with the movie, Ratatouille, right? I'm not French. I don't know if I pronounced it well, but basically, I don't know if you know the movie Ratatouille, where it was actually a rat cooking, in the, the chef, the whole cooking thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so on that note, let's talk about like the inspiration, right? How, because what we do here is we also want to, learn how, how the project founders, the game founders actually come up with the concept of the game, right? The inspiration behind it, what was actually the North Star, right? The dream that clicked and was, oh, you know what, let's do this. So what was actually the story, behind, the background of Zipclash, how the concept came to be?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say, what's really interesting, again, going back to like Web3 and the blockchain and kind of integrating these technologies within games is that it really provides the freedom and the expression and, for users and for players essentially to do other stuff outside of just the game itself. So we really believe in empowering players. I really believe that, with Web3, finally being able to give access to ownership to your players is a huge deal. For a long time, playing games, including myself, I've been gaming since I'm the age of 4. I'm like 31 now, so that's almost like 3 decades of gaming. My God, time flies. But it's really interesting to it's really interesting to think. For a long time, you'd play games and you wouldn't own any of the assets, right? I would play Call of Duty, I would play World of Warcraft, but if those games were to disappear the next day, um, people would lose their assets, right? I'd lose everything I worked for. Where I think we really believed in, ownership, empowering our users, and we wanted to create a system that empowers users in a way that we haven't seen others do it. So for a long time, and I'm kind of joking, a long time. It's only been a couple years that gamify has been really a thing, but for the last couple years, play to earn has been a huge avenue that has attracted a lot of Web3 players to this community and to this industry. The idea, I know it's what attracted me for a long time. I used to be a big gamer growing up, but then you get older, you go to school, you have to get a job, all these things come into play, and I'm like, well, I can't play games anymore, man. I'm just gonna waste my time. I have school to go to, I have bills to pay, all this stuff. So I actually stopped playing. But it was Web3 that kind of reintroduced me into gaming because I'm like, oh shit, if I can play a game and get paid for it, or actually get rewarded for my time, this might be interesting. So essentially, that's why we came up with the whole cook to earn model, right? I think that for me, when I was first presented the idea, I was like, this is brilliant because we've seen cook to earn, and then there's so many other variations: walk to earn, vape to earn. It's almost a joke now. It's almost become a meme. But the whole idea behind cook to earn has been a very interesting one because food is universal. Regardless of your culture, your race, your religion, your color, or where you are in the world, everybody enjoys food. And that's one of the key things as a human being that really connects us together. And the idea that, we could create a game where you could invest your time into playing it and also get rewarded in this case by actual real world food, I think is a really big deal. And that's what's so cool about it. I'm in Canada, but if I get a $5 voucher and I could go to Starbucks, that would be amazing. I'd love to get a coffee. That same $5 voucher is also very useful for other folks around the world, maybe in the Philippines, maybe in Latin America, maybe in Africa. So it's really cool that like this whole thing applies to everybody. Food is universal, and yeah, we wanted to kind of create a system that really enables players and our community to kind of feel empowered, and we wanted to do it through food as that's something that we haven't.
is actually who actually depend on the kind of projects who actually share the same beliefs, and will be able to launch awesome features, end features on their platform, and subsequently you know create something very very enjoyable for our audience, right? Now, speaking of Web3 gaming, right? Let's kind of expand. Let's zoom out a bit and talk about the industry, right? How do you think Zipclash actually fits into the broader Web3 gaming market?
Yeah, I think it fits very perfectly because, again, I don't think this is a model that we've seen very much or at all before. So we've definitely seen it happen where, there's play to earn, all this other stuff, but there hasn't been one that's like facilitating such an incredible use case like food in this matter. So I think that's what's really interesting. I also think that I kind of touched on it very, very briefly in the beginning, but I'm happy to dive into it. I think that Web3 gaming hasn't been as hot right now. Like that's not a hot topic. A lot of it's kind of a joke, but some people will say Web3 gaming is dead. Um, but I don't believe that's true, right? I think that for sure maybe liquidity is low. There's been a lot of stuff, but gaming in general is suffering, right? There's 15,000 layoffs in 2024. Last year, there's still a ton of layoffs right now. Marvel Rivals, one of the top games in the industry, just laid off more than half their team. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's suffering to some degree, but that doesn't maybe $250 billion. So we still have a long way to go. And when it comes to Web3, I'm really bullish, man. I really think that this technology is completely disrupting the space. It's revolutionizing everything that we're doing. And what's happening is that I really think that it's only really a matter of time. I really think in 5 to 10 years, the top games in the world will all be using blockchain technology on the back end, and those that don't are gonna fall behind, man. And this whole stuff behind play to earn mechanics, tokenomics, all this stuff, I get it. There's been play to airdrop. It's gotten a bit of a bad rap as for a long time a lot of these games have been extremely extractive. And after airdrops, a lot of these games end up dying out, which is kind of expected. But I do think over the long run, are gonna win the most prizes. We're gonna essentially have our SIP token. That's what's gonna be used for a lot of the food vouchers that we're talking about, and those ZIP tokens are gonna be converted into the food vouchers that you're gonna be able to use for real world food. Amazing. So I can see my screen a bit now. I don't know, it cut out for a sec. So let's check it out. Let's see. Do you have anything in the kitchen? Let's walk over to the kitchen and see what's going on over there.
Okay, Luca, are you with us? I don't think Luca probably is lagging from his side. Yeah. Let's give. I think Luca might be having a little bit of net.
Yeah, that's okay. I could keep talking in the meantime. But ultimately,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. So for the next question, I wanted to inquire about I wanted to ask, right, because this was actually a good question from one of our committee members. So they want to know what attracted you guys, right, to partner with gaming, right? Obviously, our committee knows the type of projects we actually collaborate with. But I believe they'll still want to hear from the horse mouth, right? Why gaming? Why did you guys launch in gaming? What are special did you see in our ecosystem that made you guys want to associate with this community?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all gamers. Our team's been developing games for a long time. I'm a gamer myself. I started gaming when I was 4. Something that's been around my life for a very long time. And yeah, we just thought it would be a great avenue to kind of, we felt like this wasn't something that was explored yet when it comes to the whole cook to earn mechanics. And I personally really think gaming will be one of the biggest catalysts to Web3 ever, right? When it comes to crypto and all this stuff, I think that DeFi is a little harder to onboard, a normie into crypto. But when it comes to gaming,
and especially, everything on the back end. I mean, if we're being really honest, the whole conversation around digital assets, maybe even NFTs, etc., that's actually been happening for over a decade. For a very long time, people have been trading digital assets before. And I think that what's really cool is that for the first time now with Web3, you're actually able to own these assets. You're able to make some money. You're able to sell these assets with other players if you decide to do that without actually getting banned. And I think that we really want to advocate for the players, for the gamers. We want to empower them, giving them the utility and the ability to do what they want with these assets, and essentially reward players for participating in our ecosystem, right? If you're one of the top players in Zipclash, we want to make sure we take care of you where you're able to get the best food vouchers you want. Maybe you can take out your family and all this stuff, and you get to decide what you do with it. Where I think in Web 2, that's always been kind of an issue where if you wanted to sell your assets or even cash out or make any form of income from playing these games, that was virtually impossible unless, well, it was possible, but you'd get banned if you sold any assets on a black market, right? So we really want to advocate for the gamers and create a system that is really fun to play. And yeah, I think the whole cook to earn model is a very interesting one that I think could maybe even change some lives, right? So I think that's kind of what we're doing with that.
Yeah, sure. So speaking of rewards, right? Let's talk a bit more about rewards, because play to earn, is actually a broad topic, right? So how does the reward system within the game works, right? Because take for example here at gaming, users monetize the GPUs and then they earn GMRX tokens, which they can go ahead so you can still use within the ecosystem. It's on platforms like yours, or shoutouts and exchanges. So can you explain in a similar way how the reward system within the game works?
Yeah, exactly. So very briefly, so right now the game hasn't, it's technically still kind of a Web 2 game. When we launch testnet to the official game very soon, that's when you're going to start to collecting Zip, which is essentially our token. And those tokens will be used for our food vouchers. So as you can see right now, our friend here, Luca, he's cooking some food, and you're going to be collecting points. These points are what are going to be used for the food voucher. So it's very simple. All the points that you're collecting are going to be essentially your food voucher points. And as many as you collect, the more food you'll be able to unlock in the real world. And I mean, the idea is really to be accessible to all. I think every major, franchise or franchisee when it comes to food. So one easy avenue would be Uber Eats, right? So let's say you have 100 points, or even 1,000 points, or 10,000, right? You get to use these points, and then they go to the food voucher, and then I could order from Uber Eats any meal that I want, and I think that's a very simplified version of it. As we roll that out and make it more official, we'll walk everyone through the steps, but briefly, it's as simple as that. You'll be collecting points, and then those points will go to the food vouchers.
Absolutely, sounds very interesting. I like the idea. You actually cook in the digital world, and then you actually get a real, if you actually get a meal in the real world. That's actually genius.
Exactly.
That sounds fun. Okay, guys, it's been a section so far. If you have any questions, I'm speaking directly to our new audience, people joining us on Twitter. I see we have people actually listening to us on Twitter right now.
I see some questions on the Discord comments. I don't mind tackling those. So Nivoro is asking, Marcello, is there a multiplayer mode similar to Overcooked game? So right now there isn't, but yes, there will be a PvP version. So player versus player is coming very soon. I'm very excited about that. I'm a very big PvP guy, and I think we got some news coming very soon. So don't worry, check out for some game modes. Awesome, Divorce throwing us an emoji. And then we've got here Birdie asking, how do you keep track of the so-called top players of Zipclash? So right now, it's I don't think we've integrated a leaderboard system just yet. Right now you get to play the game, have fun. Think of it as kind of like a play test where you get to really practice your skills and become incredibly good at this game. But very soon, when we launch our testnet, I believe we will have a leaderboard. From there, we're going to start keeping score of all our top players, our best cooks, really, our best chefs, and the best chefs will be pulling in the best points, and yeah,
and the best meal.
yeah, the best meals, exactly.
Yeah, sure. Now, just on the, some final, set of questions. Speaking of Web3 gaming, you guys, I see you guys are still, currently in heavy development. But could you walk us through some Web3 features you're looking to integrate? Token rewards, NFTs, things of that sort.
Yeah, for sure. I already briefly mentioned, Zip token. That's definitely in our roadmap. No hard details around that just yet, as we're still very early. NFT collection, though, is a very interesting one. We're very much in the talks around that. We're currently on Immutable, so it would likely be immutable NFTs, gaming NFTs, and you'll be able to own these different PFPs that will provide different benefits. So going back to the whole cook to earn mechanics that we've been talking about, playing the game, holding one of these NFTs will provide better rewards, better benefits. So think of farming more points, being able to potentially even speed up some of the processes, being able to get maybe free delivery from ordering at some of our favorite spots. So we're still kind of working out the benefits, but one thing I could definitely say, holding these NFTs will provide bigger rewards for our biggest cooks. So if you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, you can do it completely for free, as this is a free-to-play game. But those holding these NFTs will obviously hold the best rewards. And yeah, if you just enjoy the game anyway and you want to kind of accelerate your growth and your progress, then it definitely makes sense to do that. So we'll probably have more details around these NFTs very soon. No hard details just yet. Might be a free mint, it might not. We're still working that out. But really excited about that. And I would say stay tuned, everybody. We'll be sharing more info around that when the time comes.
Absolutely. So one other question is basically regarding to, our community, engaging with your game. So what do you guys have anything planned especially for, sort of a special promo for players from the gaming space, right? Because as you know, most of our community members, actually access the game, through the gaming platform. So are you guys, would you guys probably be planning, something special for people coming from the gaming ecosystem?
Yeah, I believe we mentioned at the very beginning, you mentioned how we're giving away, I think it's some GMX to the community. How do you want to explain to the community here how they could participate and for a chance to win?
Yeah, I can see some prayer emojis already. So basically, guys, there will be a code at the end of the section, right? So we'll have a code for the day, and we'll have a form which will be shared in the comment section to those on YouTube, on Twitter, and even here on Discord. So all you just need to do is to stay to the very end of the session. That will be the last thing to share, and then with the code, you go over to the form, and then you fill some basic details, which will basically require some details like if you have actually tried the game, because you need to be sure that you have actually tried the game. So, and to access the game, the Zipclash game, you can access it via the gaming platform. It's easier that way, or you can go to you can access it directly to their website. But like you said, Marcelo rightfully mentioned, they might be planning something special for the gaming community. So it might be in your interest to access the game directly through the gaming platform.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Marcel.
So weird. I don't know. Discord's playing games.
Yeah, so basically the last question was, trying to know if this was a single player game or a multiplayer game for those listening to us right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's currently a single player. Interesting. Everybody in the audience was able to hear me. Yeah, no, it's single player, and there will be multiplayer modes coming very soon. So, very excited about that. Stay tuned, everybody. There's going to be some PvP. That's going to be interesting. So, yeah, stay tuned. And I do also want to say, check the game through the GAIM platform. I will say as well, as I did see some people ask questions in the chat, in our official website, there's a desktop version of the game, but there's also the version for Android. So it is a mobile game. It will soon also have iOS. So yeah, man, we're on desktop and mobile just for everybody there. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
For the mobile version, Google Play Store, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then very soon we'll have it on iOS.
Sure, absolutely. All right, guys, we'll come to the end of the session. As already stated, the code of the day is triangle, TRIANGLE, triangle for the shape, right? So go over to the form. It will be in the comments, or you can revert back to the original announcement of the post. Make sure to follow the simple tags, which includes checking out the game, right? If you're a gaming user, we'll request for your gaming email, and with that, we'll know if you've actually tried the game. So make sure to follow the steps, and you might stand the chance to be among the 5 lucky winners who would, share the $50 prize pool in GMRX, courtesy of Zipclash, right? Yeah, we'll come to the end of the show. Thanks, Marcelo, for being with us. I actually like the concept of a game on a personal level, though. The whole concept was actually cooking in the digital space and then getting a meal in the real life. That's actually very interesting. Speaking about cooking, let him cook. All right, guys. Yeah, any final words, Marcelo, for audience before we call it a wrap for the evening?
Yeah, no, definitely check out our game. Really excited for the community here. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in. Congratulations to the winners of the prizes that we're going to be giving out. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. Got a lot of cool stuff coming very soon. I mentioned NFT collection. I mentioned, we're going to have testnet as well. And then mobile expansion to iOS, not just Android. So stay tuned, everybody. Make sure to follow us on X if you're not already following us. That's Zipclash. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. This was really great.
Absolutely. So, guys, access the Zipclash game via the gaming platform. There you find all the details, the website, the game, the socials, everything you need to know about the game, and most importantly, the game, right? Or should I say, cooking? All right. On that note, we'll call it a wrap for the evening.